right? Thanking God again. Let's call Jeremiah 35 obeyed. Flat out, because out of all the titles I might have searched for, I went straight in to what has become a four-letter word, obey, because it is so difficult to use that term if you're trying to actually persuade people to do anything anymore. However, this chapter is going to talk about primarily obedience and how it has paid off for at least one family in a unique way. In this chapter, that in the first 11 verses is going to say, in the days of Jehoiakim, it's going to matter because there's going to be a landmark decision in this chapter that's going to be linked to the reign of Jehoiakim. But in those first 11 verses, during the reign of Jehoiakim, God is going to tell Jeremiah to offer wine to the Rechabites, the descendants of a man by the name of Rechab. He is going to do that. They are going to, however, say, no, we will not, because of a vow or a promise they made to obey their forefather Rechab, to drink no wine and to live in tents as they sojourn in the land of Israel. However, they came to be wherever they are at this time because of the invasion or the rule of Babylon. Verses 12 through 17 are going to show God's response, where he is going to say, the Rechabites are an example to Judah and Jerusalem. Therefore, say to them, the Rechabites have obeyed the voice of their forefather Rechab. However, Judah and Jerusalem have not listened to me. Therefore, the disaster that he has been talking about is now certain. The reason why Jehoiakim is a great landmark is because as much as we have been hearing the prophecy that things are going to fall apart for Judah and Jerusalem, that was a promise that God was willing to not keep if they were willing to repent. However, this is another chapter that is letting us know the decisions have now led them to a point of no return. And that is what God seems to be landmarking here in the reign of Jehoiakim, the third king from the end of the line in Judah. Verses 18 and 19 going on to say that in spite of Judah's disobedience, because the Rechabites were willing to obey a healthy rule from their father, a man, God is going to have one of their men to stand before him, presumably in service from that point forward. And why does that matter? Well, at this point that marks the beginning of the end for Judah, God is going to start to extend longevity to those who are going to survive the coming destruction. And so the Rechabites are going to mark the beginning of God carving out people who have proven themselves faithful and reliable in Judah in spite of the trends of the nation that are getting them carried off into captivity, helping us to understand that no matter how much something may be trending around you, integrity still matters. And that is one of the reasons why obedience needs to become less and less of a four-letter word. Because even though I understand the difficulty to try to obey people in an environment or a time when it is less and less rational to trust anyone, at some point, you gotta obey someone. And as we say from time to time, Bob Dylan had a song, you're gonna serve somebody. It may be the devil or it may be the Lord, but you're gonna have to serve somebody. And in this age where we have more and more freedom, the greatest delusion that we may be under is the delusion of free agency. Because as we have mentioned before, no matter how much freedom we have, at no point in life are we the most powerful force in our existence. And the sooner we recognize that fundamental of objective reality, the sooner we can realize that our choice isn't so much between whether or not we're going to serve someone as opposed to who it is that we're going to serve. And ultimately, where the path of who we choose to serve or obey actually leads.